and welcome to a brand new episode of our show, Popcorn Feed, here at My Comic Universe.
Welcome back.
I'm your host, Steve.
And I'm your other host, Brian.
Let's get started by taking a look at recent news and headlines in entertainment.
That sounds like a great idea, Steve. Let's jump right into that news.
Let's do it. Earlier this month, Marvel announced that the release date for Avengers Infinity War has been moved up by 1 week, from May 4th to April 27th. The news broke on the social media platform Twitter in a thread with star Robert Downey Jr.
This is awesome, man.
It's exciting.
It is very exciting news. Everybody's excited for Infinity War. We're excited for the Infinity War movie, but I mean, Marvel knows what we want, and they're pushing up the release date an extra week, which makes everybody excited. But I'm already hearing that tickets are already sold out for a lot of showings on that first day.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, so
Not
we're
at
really
all.
excited. But we'll keep you posted about Infinity War and our review on Infinity War when it comes out at the end of next month, basically.
Exactly. You know, with the release date being moved up, everyone around the world is going to get to enjoy this film at the exact same time, which is great for fans everywhere.
That's
and
amazing.
Not only that, but I did hear that moving up the release date is also meant to avoid any major spoilers from being released. It's also meant to cut back on piracy, of course.
That's good.
And with the film being released at the same time around the world, I can see that, that's going to happen.
It's going to be very successful, just like Black Panther was. So we'll keep you up to date on all the box office results as well for the Infinity War movie. Now, I know that everybody's really hyped up on Marvel movies right now, but I recently heard something really cool. Now, for a very long time, Nicolas Cage has been wanting to play Superman, Steve.
He sure has.
Right? You've heard of this. We've talked about it a couple of times. And finally, he's going to get to play a Superman cameo in the upcoming Teen Titans Go to the Movies animated feature film.
Oh, I bet he's excited about that.
He really is. Now, mind you, this is just a cameo of Supes in this animated feature, but the voiceover will be done by Nicolas Cage.
Back in the box.
Is set to release on July 28th in the summertime, so it's going to be a great summertime movie for the whole family to enjoy. And we'll keep you up to date on that film and any other animated feature films that are coming out from Warner Brothers this year.
That's exciting news. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely am. What other news did you hear about, Steve?
Well, in other news, I also heard that Brad Pitt recently joined Leonardo DiCaprio in the upcoming Charles Manson film directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Ooh, this is very interesting news.
Yes, it should be very interesting indeed. The film is titled Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and DiCaprio plays a former star of a Western TV series named Rick Dalton, and Pitt plays his longtime stunt double, Cliff Booth.
Oh.
The two of them are struggling actors trying to make it in a Hollywood that seems unrecognizable to them, but Rick has a very famous neighbor, Sharon Tate.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
I don't know. I can only imagine who's going to be playing Sharon in that film.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what the cast is going to look like, but so far with Pitt and DiCaprio attached, it should be good stuff.
And Tarantino directing.
And Tarantino directing.
I gotta ask you, Steve, what's your favorite Tarantino film?
Oh, there's so many. I definitely love Django Unchained. The Hateful Eight was really good. And I can't, talk about Tarantino without talking about the classics like Reservoir Dogs.
Definitely. Or Pulp Fiction.
Or Pulp Fiction, yeah.
I'd have to say Inglourious Bastards is one of my favorite films that he did. And, of course,
right.
Reservoir Dogs. So let us know in the comments below what your favorite Quentin Tarantino film is and if you're excited for the upcoming Quentin Tarantino film.
Right.
Should be very exciting.
Keep an eye out, guys. The release date is August 9th, 2019.
I was just about to ask you about that release date. Awesome.
And what's interesting is that particular date is the 50-year anniversary of the Manson family committing the La Bianca murders. And it's a day after Sharon Tate was killed. I'm sure that Tarantino was very precise in picking that date for that reason.
Definitely. We'll keep you up to date on that film here at Popcorn Feed. In our most recent episode of Popcorn Feed, we did discuss the changes in the X-Men films and the Fox and Disney films.
That's right.
And as everybody is aware, New Mutants is pushed back 10 months, but for good reason. They went back and did some reshoots, and according to recent sources on set, on the actual production, we recently found out that they've added an additional character. A sixth mutant is going to be joining the other 5 mutants. And there's big speculation that this is going to be Warlock from the New Mutants series. Now, Warlock made his first appearance in New Mutants number 18, and if you're not familiar with the mutant's abilities, he's able to change shapes and organic matter. So he's definitely going to be adding a very big science fiction element to this already twisted horror take on the New Mutants. We'll keep you posted here at Popcorn Feed about any changes for the New Mutants film. Now, I don't know about you, Steve, but that's a lot of news for movies.
Sure is.
We also like to talk about TV here at Popcorn Feed.
That we do, and there's some exciting stuff coming up.
Exactly. We've got so many shows coming up in the next couple of months, and in the next couple of weeks. We've got Krypton, we've got Legion, we've got Fahrenheit 451. So let's start talking a little bit about Krypton, actually.
Yes,
Let's start off with Krypton this time. So if you're not familiar with Krypton, it's going to be on the SyFy network, and SyFy's been doing pretty well with these adaptations of comic series.
They have.
They really have. Happy was well received. Z Nation is kind of their spoof on Walking Dead, and they have a comic book series that came out last year for the TV series, and it coincides together, and it's very, very fun for a zombie killing type of TV series. But I'm really excited for this prequel to Superman. I mean, we get a lot of cool elements added to this show. It is going to be an 8-part TV series on SyFy. And Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, it's basically going to give audiences the untold story of Superman's grandfather and his quest to save his home planet, and his quest for justice as well. The story is set 2 generations before the destruction of Superman's home planet, and it follows Superman's grandfather as he fights to reclaim the House of L's honor and simultaneously save his home planet.
This is going to be a very interesting origin story that will definitely scratch the surface on, at least we'll find out what Jor-El's origin, because we're very familiar with Kal-El's origin, Superman's origin, Clark Kent's origin. But we don't really know too much about what happened before his father and what really happened on Krypton. We get a little glimpse of it in Man of Steel, of course, but this time around, we have so many different elements being added in. First off, I have to say that I'm really excited to see David Goyer. He is the reason this show is being developed and produced.
Right, that's right.
So, why don't you fill us in on who David is?
So he is the creator of this show, and according to David S. Goyer, the series is supposed to be set 200 years before the events of 2013's Man of Steel. This was prior to SyFy confirming that the show is actually on its own continuity, separate from the DC films. But David Goyer has announced that he has a 7 to 8 year plan for the show, and we here at My Comic Universe are very excited to see what's in store for the SyFy Channel's latest TV series.
This is going to be a lot of fun, and I have high hopes that this series is going to be a very ongoing success, basically.
Likewise, it sounds like David has some big plans for it.
And if you're not familiar with some of David's past work, he also wrote screenplays for Batman Begins, Batman vs. Superman, and currently he is working on 2 screenplays for Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment, The Masters of the Universe, and the Green Lantern Corps films. And we'll keep you posted on those films as they go into production as well.
That's right.
So the other thing that's really cool about Krypton is all the additional characters from the DC universe they're adding in. We have Adam Strange, we have Doomsday, we have Hawkgirl being thrown in the mix, and of course, my favorite villain of all time, Brainiac.
That's going to be exciting to see him
The
on
Collector of Worlds himself is going to be in this, and it's super exciting to see this really, really, I want to say it's a very good adaptation of Brainiac on the screen. So I'm very excited to see that, and if you're looking for something to read that gives you a little bit of a backstory on Brainiac and the Collector of Worlds, Action Comics did a 5-part arc written by Jeff Johns, and you can find that it's Action Comics 866 to 870. So those are something you can find at a local comic book shop or even in a graphic novel form. So we are super excited to see all these characters and to see Krypton. So let us know what you think about the TV series and if you're going to watch the upcoming Krypton TV series.
That's right. Let us know what you guys think. Krypton does premiere on Wednesday, March 21st on the SyFy Network, so stay tuned for that one.
Now, there's so much new TV coming out, new episodes, new series, and if you're a fan of HBO's TV series, we're talking Game of Thrones, Westworld, Silicon Valley, then you're definitely going to love the next big sensation from HBO, which is based off of Ray Bradbury's novel, Fahrenheit 451.
I'm very excited for this one.
I am too. There's great casting choices for this, and we're going to see a few throws from the book probably thrown into this TV series. So, Steve, why don't you fill us in on Fahrenheit 451?
Well, HBO's Fahrenheit 451 stars Michael B. Jordan and Michael Shannon. As you mentioned, it's based off of the novel by Ray Bradbury, and it's set in a terrifying future where a young man named Guy Montag works as a fireman whose job is to burn all books. Now, after
Fascists.
Yes. Now, after a guy meets a young girl, he soon begins to question things and begins to rebel against the society he's been raised in. So I'm very excited to see this come to life.
Yeah, this will be very interesting and uprising. And Guy's set to be played by Michael B. Jordan.
That's right. I think that's a great casting choice. I originally
Killmonger
heard that
himself.
Yes. We've got two superhero villains, two supervillains.
Oh, that's true.
Michael B. Jordan was Killmonger, and Michael Shannon played
General Zod, yeah. Which is somebody else that I'm excited to see, General Zod and the Zod family in the Krypton TV series as well. That would be very interesting.
Exactly. So, were you guys a fan of the novel by Ray Bradbury? Or are you excited to see this novel being adapted for the small screen? Let us know in the comments below and give us your thoughts. We're excited to hear from you guys. Well, Brian, on top of these new shows, we also have a show coming back for the second season.
That's correct.
Of course, I'm talking about FX's Legion.
Legion.
Finally getting season 2.
I'm excited for Legion season 2.
Definitely.
Now, if you're not familiar with Legion season 1, it takes place and revolves around this individual named David Haller. And a lot of people feel that David is got some psychological issues and problems, but in reality, he's being stalked and plagued by this psychic being who's trying to take him over. And little does David really know that he has psychic abilities himself. So we're getting not only X-Men, but New Mutants crossed in and intertwined into this TV series. And I loved every bit of season 1. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was definitely a unique take, and especially the fact that it was made for mature audiences as well. They definitely had a lot more room to take the story wherever they wanted to.
Yes, they really did. I'm excited to see all the changes. Of course, at the end of last season, this is a bit of a spoiler alert, David does get captured, and we do want to see what happens to his character. And I'm really excited to see that because we have Division 3 after him, and of course, we also have the Shadow King after him.
That's right. Yes, I'm very curious to see who his captors are. And yes, as you mentioned, Season 2 is going to follow the parasitic villain known as the Shadow King as he searches for his original body now that he's been forced out of David's mind at the end of the first season.
So this is definitely something we're excited for here at Popcorn Feed, and we'll keep you up to date on all the Season 2 Legion information, but we cannot forget the release date for Season 2 is April 3rd.
That's right.
So it's coming up soon. What about new releases, Steve?
Oh, we've got quite a few of those
We got a
this
few.
month.
All right, let's go to the movies. What's out in theaters?
Well, our upcoming theatrical releases for March include Death Wish, directed by Eli Roth and starring Bruce Willis, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Elizabeth Shue. Red Sparrow, directed by Francis Lawrence and starring Jennifer Lawrence and Joel Edgerton. The Strangers, Pray at Night, directed by Johannes Roberts and starring Christina Hendricks and Bailey Madison. Tomb Raider, directed by Roar Utag and starring Alicia Vikander, Dominic West, and Walton Goggins. Pacific Rim Uprising, directed by Stephen S. DeKnight and starring John Boyega, Scott Eastwood, Adria Arjona, and Charlie Day. I Kill Giants, directed by Andres Walter and starring Zoe Saldana, Imogen Poots, and Madison Wolfe. And Ready Player One, directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Ty Sheridan, Oliva Cook, and Letitia Wright.
Now let's take a look at some of those Blu-ray and digital download releases that are available right now.
On Blu-ray and digital download, we have Thor Ragnarok, directed by Taika Waititi, and starring Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Cate Blanchett, Tessa Thompson, and Jeff Goldblum. Justice League, directed by Zack Snyder and starring Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Jason Momoa. And The Shape of Water, directed by Guillermo del Toro and starring Sally Hawkins, Michael Shannon, Richard Jenkins, Doug Jones, and Octavia Spencer.
I'm really excited for Ready Player One and all the digital download releases that are coming out, and we'll keep you posted here at Popcorn Feed.
You sure will.
Now, we gotta talk about our recommendation, Thor Ragnarok.
That's right. This month's recommendation is Marvel's Thor Ragnarok, starring Chris Hemsworth, Cate Blanchett, and Tom Hiddleston. The third installment in the Thor franchise has our hero in a race against time to prevent Ragnarok, the destruction of his home world, and the end of the Asgardian civilization at the hands of the ruthless Hela. But Thor must first escape captivity by winning a deadly contest and defeating his old ally and fellow Avenger, the Incredible Hulk.
I love this movie. It was so much fun, and I really loved that they brought in elements of the Planet Hulk storyline. We got to meet and be introduced to both Korg and Meek, some great characters. And on top of that, I love Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie.
Oh yeah, she was great. She did a great job.
Definitely. But we can't forget about Cate Blanchett as Hela. She was very, very, very scary, and
yes, she definitely earned a place.
She did a great
as,
job.
One of Marvel's better villains, for sure.
Definitely. So our recommendation for this episode is going to be Thor Ragnarok. All right.
Well, guys, thanks for watching. Please leave us a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Please
and
do.
Follow us on social media. I'm Steve,
I'm Brian
here with My Comic Universe.
at Popcorn Feed, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Until next time, guys.